Alex Pereira is attempting to do something that not a lot of humans have done. The man has come in, take the UFC by storm. He was a storied kickboxing champion who had to go get off the couch, get out the bar, challenged by Adesanya, and now he's looking to make one of the biggest runs we've seen between the middleweight and the light heavyweight division, one of the most active champions that we have here. It's 2024, and the real question is going to become, can Khalil Bangkok ready Rountree make it happen? Upset alert, that's what we're here to talk about, folks. A lot of fun fights on deck for UFC 307, and breaking it down with me as always is my co-host, the Santa Fe Bomber, the New Mexico native, AJ. We've been talking about Khalil Rountree for I don't know how long. We've talked about the consistency, we've talked about the potential, but the man's got a title shot, man. It's never been more real than it is now. So give me your thoughts on this matchup.
Excited, brother. Excited for Khalil Rountree and the opportunity he has presented against him, or I guess to him. But you name 10 fighters that are going up in the light heavyweight division. Not many people would say Khalil Rountree is going to be the one that's going to get this shot. But sure enough, he does. And let's see if he makes a magic moment out of this opportunity he has.
Bro, it's exciting, man. Fresh blood. You always just want to see fresh blood in these divisions. Light heavyweight, long ruled by John Jones. Now we're starting to see a real mix-em-up between Yuri Prochazka, Alex Pereira, all the different guys. We had Glover holding it down the whole entire 9, man. But let's not forget, we also have a women's bantamweight championship. Raquel Rocky Pennington versus Juliana Pena right there. After Amanda Nunes has left the throne, we are yet to see who's going to be the next dominant champion. So again, lots of fun stuff to break down, folks. But before we jump into all of that, we need to recap what happened last week. We hold ourselves accountable here on this program. And AJ, let's take a look at the numbers for UFC Paris. First things first, you always do, and you're going to give it to us again, our consensus pick theme, but a recap. 2-2. Brian Battle, Morgan Charriere. We bricked on Joe Anderson Brito. I'm going to call that a potential robbery alert. Lowercase r robbery. And then Saint Denis, man. We dropped the ball on that one. Money Moicano proved us wrong. What were your thoughts?
I ain't mad at the Money Moicano fight, right? Like that's what happens. He busts him up, it goes down, not able to continue the fight. Not mad about that one. I am mad about the Brito, and I'm sorry, folks. I let you down on the Allen fight. I was expecting a little more out of him, but either way, it was an interesting way to see how it all unfolded. Like you said, Derek, 2-2. This was a rough one, but I mean those prop blocks though. You see them, folks. They're hitting, making it cash all day long. Unfortunately, on the parlay side, it was a little rough for Brito. Like I said, really rough.
Hey, bro, let's double down. Hey, listen, let me give a all right. This is 2 props, and listen, we're supposed to hit props for you guys. That's what we do. But plus 135 and plus 140 on the props right there. Come on, that's cash money. Let's cash that all day. For the parlays, Allen Frivola, the dog parlay, brick, Brito money line versus the Cornoli versus Cavalcanti over 2.5 rounds. Honestly, again, robbery, lowercase r. That should have been in the bag. All right, but we're not here to dilly-dally and all of that good stuff, man. We're here to look on to the future and just kind of see where we can play it from here. So, folks, it's time to take a quick glimpse into the picks that we have for UFC 307. The bet sheet is here. Let's talk about it. Cue the music. All right, man. So, consensus picks. We got 3 of them this week. We got, and still, Alex Pereira. Always rolling with Jose Aldo, and then Kayla Harrison in a very intriguing matchup against Ketlin Viera. AJ, what's the theme?
Theme this week, Derek, is damage. Damage all day long. Pereira, Aldo, Harrison, they scream damage from the mountaintops. That's what we're going with this week.
I mean, like I say it every week, bro. You're on the nose, man. That's it right there. Damage, get him out of there. Don't let it be pretty, and get him out of there early if possible. All right, man, let's jump into, let's do this backwards. Let's jump into some parlays first. Interesting one. Roman Dolidze, Joaquin Buckley money line. You got a dog, and you got a pretty heavy favorite. That Buckley being the favorite, Dolidze, interestingly enough, at middleweight being the dog. Plus 223 for the parlay. What are we thinking there?
I like this one, Derek, because I'm depending on Dolidze's durability right here, right? He's durable. He likes to control the fight. I'm expecting him to kind of weather down Holland in this fight. We'll see how it unfolds. We'll talk about it a little later. But Buckley, money line, like you said, he's a favorite going into this one fight in a 41-year-old Stephen Thompson. But don't get me wrong, Stephen Thompson is dangerous. This one has my eyes interested, so I'm excited to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, he's not quite the Wonder Boy that fought Tyron Woodley. You know, he's not quite that version anymore, but yet ever still dangerous. We'll call this one the Grappler's Delight Parlay. We're then rocking with the Alex Paeta, Jose Aldo money line right here. This is the Brazilian parlay right here. Let's rock it. Let's just throw the dice, man. Roll it all on the Brazilians. No, I think that this is going to be an interesting parlay. Paeta just being the favorite in the championship matchup. Khalil Rountree, we're going to talk about the matchup, but we think Paeta is a safe pick right here. And Jose Aldo, I'm just going to say this, man, and this is going to foreshadow what I'll talk about in a bit. You got to prove it to me. Show me you could beat Aldo. You can't bet against Aldo until they could show us that they could beat him, right? So we'll take the play on there, plus 164 for the parlay. And then real quick, so we don't mince any more words right here, man. St. Preux, span over 1.5 rounds, minus 120 at altitude, Utah. AJ, what are we thinking?
Yeah, that's the one right there, Derek. That's the big caveat right here. I like this one, though. Two older guys with altitude. I think they're going to take their time in this fight, get to the fight, and really round two. All they got to do is make it 2.5 minutes into round two. We hit this prop. Them being bets, I'm expecting this to happen.
Yeah, and I'm banking on durability for mine because the same process, right? Tim Means, Court McGee, going the distance, minus 155 at altitude. It's rough. And I was looking through the locks that I have here. And the reason that I think that this is a lock is because these two veteran, durable dudes are getting knocked out, but they're not getting knocked out by old kids. They're getting knocked out by the young, new, you know, the stiff talent. I think they're going to take their time, settle in, and we're going to have a slobber knocker right there. So with that being said, folks, that's the UFC 307 bet sheet through and through. We're going to get into all of the nitty gritty right there in just a moment, but take a screenshot, run to the sports book, and you know what time it is. All right, folks, it's time for the main card. Let's break it down, baby. Let's get it.
Here's to another main card breakdown, courtesy of your hosts, Derick G and AJ.
All right, folks, again, if you are new to the program, what we're going to do is we are going to be breaking down the main card, everything from the main event all the way down to the opening bout of the fight, excuse me. If you haven't taken the time to subscribe right now, I'm not sure what exactly you're doing, but we do this week in and week out, provide the film study, provide the picks, do all of the hard work for you. Fair trade. Drop a subscribe, drop a comment, and tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's get into the action. Alex Paeta, Bangkok ready, Khalil Rountree? That's the question that we have. The number one theme that we've had on this program, assessing a Khalil Rountree fight, is what version of Khalil is going to show up. Now, Khalil Rountree, bro, coming off of that TKO victory against Anthony Smith, running back before that against Chris Daukaus, he's on an impressive run. So my question to you right here is, when we think consistency, when we think Khalil Rountree, there's no better spot for him to be the version that we think he is, the best version of him, against this opponent, Paeta, a striker, a man who's not going to sit there and try to mix it up. It's going to be a pure striker's delight. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I think Khalil Rountree, this is his best opportunity to be sniffing gold right now. Alex Paeta is that fighter that wants to go in there and just stand toe-to-toe. This is going to be a very fun matchup. The thing with Khalil, we've seen him not have success against people with the death touch, right? Sometimes he can know that shot's coming. So he's going to be a little bit more timid in there than I'm expecting, or that we've seen him in the past, especially in the last two fights. And that's going to be the question, Derek. How excited or how much pressure is Khalil willing to put on? Because we know Paeta is going to be front foot the entire fight.
And that, I mean, that's the thing though, man. I don't know if that's exactly true either. Because if you look at Paeta versus Southpaws in particular, which you're not going to find a lot of film on in the UFC, if you listen to some Jamal Hill, he says, I've never seen him starch a dude who's a Southpaw except Jamal Hill, right? But that's neither here nor there. But I did really take that to heart. And I went and I looked through some film and I saw, even in the Jamal Hill fight, man, it wasn't the normal pressure you see Paeta put on people. Everything is a little bit different when you're not moving on your natural side. Now, we're not saying that he never fought Southpaws in his like illustrious kickboxing career, but the point is Khalil Rountree is an intriguing matchup right here because he takes away a couple of the weapons and has really good checks. This is Muay Thai versus kickboxing. Muay Thai being for Rountree, kickboxing being for Paeta. So a lot of people are saying, well, what if Paeta is the one who initiates a takedown, who tries to throw things off for Rountree? Because what you don't want is Rountree to start getting into his bag and just start free rolling, man, striking, getting downhill. This is the big question that I have for you. When you watch both of these guys, and you know, I'm sure both of them pop off of the tape right there, what do you notice in terms of a technique deficiency between one or the other? For an example, Rountree, I think he can potentially, just a pure regular shot, can hit harder than Paeta, but he also overswings big. Like he swings with big intention. Paeta swings with control on the dot and just death touches you. So the difference between those two right here, how does that play out in this matchup?
Well, I think that's kind of going down really strictly to their ethos, right, Derek? You see Paeta being controlled, being calm, and like you said, finding those moments, but still hits with such veracity that it does have that death touch. He just knows when to throw it. Khalil is trying to force and find these moments into actually getting into position, and that's really where the big difference lies, right? Can Khalil be able to put himself in those positions? And if he does, will Pereira strike? Like that's when Khalil gets into position. That's what Pereira wants, right? That's when he can actually hit him back. And if Khalil's over swinging and throwing those big wild shots like he needs to be able to find those moments, that's where the damage is going to come. So if for this kind of fight with Khalil in the way he does fight, I agree. He can have some pressure going into this one, especially when he does get that downhill motion. But it's finding the moments to also back up just a smidge to let not happen what we've seen happen where Paeta's pushed up against him, and then he lands the one big shot.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Yuri, right? Yuri started getting him, trying to put Paeta on the back foot. You get clipped with the left hook. Rountree, not a great striker moving backwards, man, but the intangibles kind of speak for themselves. Paeta's going to have the reach advantage. The kicks are going to be really interesting, just see how the kicks kind of play out right here. But you look at these guys, man, I mean, there's a lot to like on both ends right here. I do think Khalil has a really good chance, but let's actually talk about numbers, man. Let's just straight introduce the actual number. The open was minus 535 for Paeta, brother. I mean, lots of respect on the champion right now. Plus 400. Come back for Rountree at open. If we're looking at the actual number, what were we just at? Plus 350 for Rountree and minus 500 for Paeta. So it's not like, they're giving Khalil Rountree a major shot, but we still have an opportunity to make some money right here. If you look at Paeta's last basically every single fight except for the Jan Blachowicz fight and the Bruno Silva fight, he's knocking out everybody. Just everybody's getting knocked out. There's no ways around it. If you look at Khalil Rountree, a lot of these fights are going to finish too. So minus 350 TKO prop for Alex Paeta. I know it's probably a likely method of finish, but brother, what are you thinking about that prop? There's no value to be placed there.
No, absolutely no value. That's what I was going to say, Derek. No juice at all on a minus 350, only 150 away from his money line odds. Yeah, nah, I'm going to stay away all day long. The other ones are interesting, Derek. Do you think there's a way at a plus 200 or plus 900 for Paeta, plus 1,200 for Khalil, that we're seeing a decision in this fight?
Brother, this is at altitude, man. This is not only just a regular fight where you're like, nah, there's no way it lasts. But at altitude, one of these dudes is going to get gassed. And I've seen more often than Pereira, I've seen Rountree in tape just kind of get gassed out, man. After that first round, things start slowing down a little bit. He says he's ready. He says he's in the best, shape of his life. But I will say that there's going to be one thing that I think Pereira is going to try to do to slow him down as well. I think we're going to see a lot of body jabs from Paeta to Rountree to set up his offense, right? Just jab to the body, avoid the knee if possible, right? But I think that this is where the fight kind of plays out. Distance, body jabs from Paeta. I think Rountree tries to close the distance, and where I think he can have some success at? I think he tries to start clinching Paeta, not in hopes for a takedown. Elbows off the break, knees in the clinch. What do you think about the clinch, and how does that impact these numbers?
I'm interested to see how that actually does, Derek, because I didn't really take it too much into account, especially because of how dangerous Paeta is in those moments as well. I agree with what you're saying. Like if Khalil Rountree is in that middle side and he's just throwing elbows off the clinch, like he is very, very dangerous and hits very hard. Doesn't need to scratch you too much just to put you to sleep. But we've seen where Paeta can find those moments where he's just backing up a little, finds his spot to be able to knock you out. I'm interested, Derek. I don't actually have an answer for the clinch. I'm excited to see what Khalil Rountree, Bangkok ready Khalil Rountree, can do in a Muay Thai clinch.
All right, man. Well, let's see. This is the big play right here. The over 1.5 rounds, minus 145 for the over, plus 115 for the under. So if there's some juice to be had, I think it's on this over right here. Give me your take, man. Again, this is at altitude, and I don't want to disrespect either of these fighters, but I have a feeling this can't last that long. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think it can last that long either, Derek. I saw this actually at 1.5 rounds, and I was curious, thinking the same thing, because I give more respect to both fighters than just a quick 7.5 minute fight, right? But at the same point, I can see that happening with the knockouts. But if there is juice, yeah, I like the over. I like the over at that minus money. I see it going longer. I'm thinking like third round. It's almost hard not to take it at 1.5.
Yeah, man. If you look at the fighters for Paeta specifically, the fights that he's had that have gone past 2 rounds, you're talking about Bruno Silva and Israel Adesanya, and I guess Jan Blachowicz for that split right there, man. So you're not seeing a lot of dudes, but again, Rountree, it's a different animal right here. So I think that the play is definitely going to be on Pereira. I think it's really just all about the timing and the lack of effort that he needs to take to land that kill shot versus Rountree, who, if he hits you, I think he could hit you through your guard and you're still a wrap. Pereira gets hit, man. He's a hittable guy. It's not. Here's one thing that I'll just say to kind of conclude this, and I want your opinion on it. Do you think Rountree is somewhat live here? I feel like everyone's writing him off and they're not giving him a chance, but they're like, oh, he could knock him out. But I think that he could legitimately knock him out. What do you think?
Yes, Derek, I agree with you 100%. I was expecting Khalil Rountree's TKO prop to be around like 150. Like, that's how confident I am that this could actually happen. Like you said, Pereira's hittable. Khalil Rountree just needs one to actually get to connect, and then that's where the lights go out. Man, we've seen Israel Adesanya knock out Alex Pereira, so he's not unbeatable right here. Yeah. I put a lot of faith in the big power shots of Rountree.
And remind me, you like the over 1.5 on this?
I like the over, but only because it's 1.5, right? Yeah. With the lack of pressure that Pereira is going to put on the southpaw, like we're saying, and then Khalil trying to find those moments, not wanting to get gassed out, I'm expecting to go over 7.5 minutes.
I respect that. So I think if there's juice to be found here, play it on the over 1.5 rounds right here. Alex Pereira is the consensus pick and still for the light heavyweight championship, but always love to the Bangkok ready Khalil Rountree camp. And AJ, moving on down. This one is really intriguing right here. And I know you just talked about Pereira versus Khalil, and you're like, that's an intriguing fight. How could this one be intriguing? Listen, man, Rocky Pennington versus Pena. You got one who's hot on the mic, right? Pena, storied. Both of these guys are storied, right? Coming from tough 18, I believe, man, like throwback in the day. But this is going to be the new era of women's bantamweight MMA. So the question is, the champion, Raquel Pennington, right? Quiet to herself, but she goes out there and she does rinse, wash, repeat, strike to enter the clinch, do some cage wrestling, not really too much cage wrestling, but beat you up against the clinch, break out, land some striking. It's not pretty to see, but it's effective and it wins fights. Pena is a little more unpredictable in my opinion, and I think she's kind of getting overlooked in this fight because the narrative, if you watch all of the embeds in the YouTube videos, everyone is just saying nonstop, Pena sucks. She's like, the only reason she got here is because she got a lucky win against Nunez and because she knows how to talk. So I want your opinion right here. Is Juliana Pena, former bantamweight champion, is she live at this plus 130 open right here versus Pennington, or did her mic skills get her here? What do you think?
100% live, Derek. Absolutely a dog in this fight, and keep overlooking her, folks, because she's definitely going to be there to do some damage, right? Like you said, a little unpredictable, and we've seen what Rocky Pennington can do, and take nothing away from Rocky, right? She is a star in her own right. She can get there. The proof is in the pudding, right? She has the belt, but Juliana Pena has that X factor, right? Where things get going, she throws something weird out there. She's a little more unpredictable in that sense. That's where she's able to provide those opportunities to be lucky, right? I'd rather be lucky than good. A lot of the times, if you're lucky, you get the opportunity presented to you. It's the skills behind it that are able to follow through, and we've seen Pena have exactly that.
I'll tell you one thing I really do like about Pena that is super underestimated. People kind of clown on her striking ability a little bit because it looks a little funny. But one thing she does is she eats space. So there's a space between me and my opponent, right? Pena and Raquel Pennington. And as Pennington tries to enter, same way that Nunez was trying to enter, she's filling that space with those big over-the-shoulder big shots, right? But when you fill that space, it makes your opponent really have no other option but fight at distance or eat a couple shots to get in. So you're just racking up damage. Nunez, she beat Pena up in the second fight, but Nunez looked crazy. Listen, Pena can land shots against Pennington. My question is jiu-jitsu. AJ, listen, Pena, in my opinion, is dangerous everywhere, but Raquel Pennington has never been submitted in the UFC, and she's had about 18 fights in the UFC. So what do you make? What's the path to victory for a Pena? Because if it's going to come from jiu-jitsu, I think it's going to come from control and maybe ground and pound. But the submission, I find it hard against Rocky Pennington. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, Derek, unfinished in the UFC by submission. No, I don't expect if this gets to grappling, right? I'm with you. There's going to be control, but I think Juliana Pena is going to want to stay away from that until there's a moment, right? She drops Rocky Pennington and then she just starts swarming her. Like if that happens, then I can see it getting down there. We can see Pennington go for some control or going for some switches, whatever the case. But I see Pena winning this fight by pure getting into that motion, like you're saying, right? She hasn't, and I wrote it down as blitz, right? She likes that blitz from the outside, eats creates that space, throws some shots, and then I'm expecting her to cut a corner, dip off, and get back to that. So that way she's able to, impose the damage that she was doing to Nunes, but without getting controlled like Nunes was able to do to her.
I think the play is clear here, in my opinion, for those who are tailing my picks. This is a fight where, I mean, listen, man, if you're looking at both of them, yeah, all right, you see a lot of finishes on the side of Pena, but she hasn't fought very actively, you know what I mean? So it's not like those are all coming as of recent. I think if you're tailing me and you're rocking with the champ, Raquel Pennington, you're looking at the decision play all day, because one of the strongest factors she has more than anything is her cardio. And one of the strongest factors that Juliana Pena has, in my opinion, is her durability. Durability and cardio makes for a long fight. So I think that AJ, regardless if you are siding with me or not, which I already know that you're not, but we could take a quick look right here at the let's go to the ESPN really quickly, man, and just take a look. The fight odds right here that we have for over 4.5 rounds is minus 275. So the distance is minus 240 right there. I think that you fight to go to the distance minus 240 should even be higher, man. I think that should be like a minus 500 type situation right here. What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely closer to that like 400, 500 mark, because I do agree with you, Derek. Even at altitude, like we've been talking about all day, I'm expecting both of these girls to give it full grit, full glory as well, like putting the pressure on, but still staying with each other. Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, it's a little counterintuitive because everyone gets real big, bad, and scary. Oh, it's Utah, it's elevation. But like I said, for Pennington, man, cardio machine, Juliana Pena, durable enough to fight through any fatigue and pain and injury and all of that stuff, man. You know, she gets injured a lot, but she comes and she brings it when she does. So, man, that's how I see this kind of playing out. A lot of cage wrestling right here. Pena is going to look to try to mix it up and make it exciting. But I think that Rocky Pennington, man, unless Pena is able to take her back and choke her, I just find a hard time seeing her win on the feet, but she is down to stand in that pocket. So we'll see how it plays out. I like Pennington for the decision at plus 110. I'm down to take that prop all day long. But AJ, for the person who is undecided and they don't want to pick between me and you, are we rocking that fight goes the distance minus 240 or over 4.5 at minus 275?
Fight goes the distance. I don't see this one finishing unless it's, like you said, a crazy back take, a random drop with just a ground and pound. I'm expecting both of these fighters to, like you said, the plus 110, plus 235, whichever one you're seeing. I like those odds, but I do like the minus 270 better.
That's it.
Or 240, whatever it was. Excuse me.
minus 240 for goes the distance right there. So contentious pick, Pennington for me, Pena for AJ. So we'll see how it goes. Let the best man win. All right. Jose Aldo. I don't like this fight, AJ. I'm just going to say that off the bat because I don't believe in like retiring and then coming back and be like, no, I'm going to keep going, right? Because he did it. He got the crown in Brazil. He did the thing. He beat Jonathan Martinez. He arguably beat a dude who was like a better win for him than Mario Bautista. But enter Mario Bautista, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's all like, listen, I'm surprised. I thought this dude would want to fight dudes that are closer to his age and his stature, you know what I mean? His legendary stature, right? But he wants to fight me? All right, we'll see what's good. I've been training at the MMA lab, and I'm prepared, and I think he is. But here's the thing, going back to the beginning of the conversation, AJ, how can you bet against Jose Aldo if we're not seeing guys beat him? The only people that have beat him are people of notable how would you say, notable titles, whatever. You're talking about Merab Dvalishvili, current bantamweight champion. You're talking about Piotr Jan, former champion, Marlon Moraes, former title contender, and Alexander Volkanovski, who you don't even need to say his resume, right? How do you bet against Jose Aldo? Before we talk to actual numbers and what the picks are going to be, how do you bet against him?
How do you bet against Jose Aldo, Derek, with the narrative that's being pushed, right? Like he's old, he's slow. I think 41 years old. I forget the actual age, but still, there's a time where Father Time is undefeated, right? That's where a lot of people are putting their lack of faith in Jose Aldo. 38, excuse me, Jose Aldo, my bad, right? That's on me. But either way, still old for the division. Like what was the stat, Derek? 35 years old and under. That's really the people that are winning, right? This is 3 years past that. But again, it's so hard to bet against Jose Aldo in these moments because he's always down. Like even though he did retire and leave, he was still boxing. Like he was putting work in consistently. So he does have the skills that are still very, very sharp.
I mean, listen, he's going to come in, he's going to box you up. That's the game plan. But Bautista, he's got an interesting skill set, just the wrestling, right? Fantastic lateral movement outside, a lot of really good wrestling. But the question, can he chain together his grappling enough to be able to mitigate the nasty power and the offensive prowess of Jose Aldo? Merab couldn't do it. This dude Merab shot, he's shooting 40 takedowns and all that. You know what I mean? He wasn't able to do it. So why is Mario Bautista going to be able to do it? It's something that I'm not quite sold on yet as a true idea. So that's why I'm so in favor of Aldo. Now, here's the problem. Look at the Jonathan Martinez fight. That first round, Aldo came out hot. But the rest of those rounds, you know what I mean? It was only a 3-round fight. But rounds 2 and round 3, he takes his foot off the gas. Cardio is a known issue for Jose Aldo. And at altitude, again, it really does concern me. But again, everything that I looked at, all the tape, I broke it all down. I looked at all the plausible options, and I said, but it's Jose Aldo, and these dudes aren't beating him. So how can I bet against them, bro? Sometimes, even though we break down numbers this way, AJ, don't you agree? You have to go with that intuition. What do you think?
Oh, 100%, Derek. A lot of these times, right, we're looking at stuff, gauging this, and something I always write down, like tells you, this is who I'm picking. There's a lot of those times that go into these moments, and I'm with you, Derek. There's a lot of fights where you're looking at Jose Aldo and the position he's put in, and it doesn't look favorable on paper, right? Yeah. Older, cardio issues. He's fighting at altitude against a guy who has the skill set to be able to nullify Jose Aldo's skill set. Like, all these intangibles seem to be going against him, but still, right? Jose Aldo, he puts up a hell of a fight, even with, like you said, with Merab, stuffing all those takedowns. And I think the one way Mario Bautista is going to be able to capitalize on that is take it not necessarily easy in the first round, but save your gas tank a little bit. Let Jose Aldo do what he's going to do. Avoid some damage. Don't get finished, because that's going to be the most dangerous time. But then once that second round hits, you really put it to the King of Rio and just start getting that work in, chaining in, like you said, 3, 4, 5 takedowns, because that's what it's going to be able to take down Aldo.
And I agree. I agree that that's what it takes. I don't believe that that's what will be achieved. Is that chain? It's just it's a different type. You don't watch Mario Bautista, you don't see him chain together 5 different takedowns together. You know what I mean? So this is the play. Mario Bautista has no choice. He has to stand and trade with Aldo. That's the only way you're going to close the distance to get that takedown. As long as you have to trade with Aldo, I like Aldo's shots because he's going to make you box. And in this fight, you want to mitigate your own cardio issues, dig to the body, as we know that he does against Bautista. Now, here's the big issue. Batista's lateral movement at distance is so good, I don't know if Aldo will be able to land. So this could be a really close fight, and I'm banking on a decision over here. I don't really see a finish happening. I can't see Bautista finishing Aldo via submission, just based off of how are you going to get him to the spot to be able to submit him. And for Aldo, I'm not sure if we're going to get a knockout because, one, he hasn't knocked somebody out in how long? What are we talking about? His last knockout victory was against... Was it Moicano? Yeah, it was Moicano in 2019, man. That was a long time ago, bro. So I'm banking on a decision here. Again, I know it's not something that you want to hear when you're at elevation in Utah, but you tell me, man. Aldo plus 130 open as a dog. Currently, he's sitting at plus 125, so the line hasn't moved very much. But if we were looking at the over on this one, we're looking at 2.5 rounds minus 340 for over 2.5 rounds. So they like the decision too. Consensus pick, do we just play the plus 175 decision?
I think we play the plus 175 decision, Derek, on this one. I do think Mario Bautista is going to try to make some things happen, but Aldo plays the game too well to be able to get caught up in those simple style of traps.
40-fight veteran. 40-fight veteran right here. He's seen it all, done it all. He's probably seen a million Mario Bautistas, right? But you also got to remember, too, he might get that first round in the bag, too, because everybody has that, oh, shit, I'm fighting Jose Aldo. They have that in that first round. Maybe not because he's an MMA lab product, but interesting right there. And again, really interesting because you look at the over 2.5, minus 340, but fight to go the distance is minus 270. I get it. It's an extra 2.5 minutes that you're banking on, bro, but I like the fight to go to the distance, minus 270 right here, too. What do you think?
I like that a lot, Derek, especially for how close I think this fight's going to be, right? Yeah. If you're not sure on who to pick, right? The narrative's out there, you're going one way, you're rocking with us. If you do think this fight's going to go how we're saying, to the distance makes so much more sense.
To the distance, man. That'd be an interesting one right here. But you got to rock with the King of Rio, of course. That's going to be the consensus pick. Jose Aldo at dog odds, plus 125. When we cash this, we're coming and we're playing it back and taking a victory lap. But of course, if we don't, then it's crow eating time. Accountability hour, baby. All right, AJ. Moving on up. So this fight actually got flipped to be the first bout of the night. For the pay-per-view. But, hey, man, listen, number 2, Ketlin Viera versus Kayla Harrison at number 3. Already number 3. AJ, I had somebody ask me, they're like, oh, Kayla Harrison, is she ranked? Is she like top fighter? And I was like, no way, man. She just got it to UFC. She beat Holly Holm. There's no way. And then I realized, I was like, oh, shit, yeah, they gave her number 3 for beating Holly Holm, which makes sense because Holly Holm has been in that spot for forever, but it's just almost like, that was such a favorable match. You know what I mean? Anyways, all right. This is a fight right here, though, man. Kayla Harrison opened up as minus 650. AJ, I have no choice. I have to show you. I have to show you right here what the live odd is right here. Brother, what is this? I got my glasses on and I still got to double check it. Minus 1150 for Kayla Harrison against Ketlen Vieira, where everybody is saying you are vastly, vastly, vastly underestimating the Brazilian, Ketlen Vieira, and I absolutely believe it. Though, cat out the bag, Kayla Harrison is the consensus pick right here, man. Watch tape. And all it takes is a quick tape assessment to see if Harrison does not get Vieira down quickly and get in her bag. Brother, this could be one of the largest upsets that we see in a long time. What do you make of it?
This could be a parlay buster for a lot of people out there, man. I know the numbers look good on Kayla Harrison, but do not sleep on Ketlen Vieira, because I'm with you, Derek. Like if this doesn't unfold in Kayla Harrison's, book in the first minute and a half, I think Ketlen Vieira can find that timing, find her way to work some moves in there and get to work, right? Like I got a lot more faith than the odds makers are putting out there for Ketlen Vieira.
In the most respectful way possible. Kayla Harrison on the feet is slow, dude. Like, Vieira, I think, will eat her up striking. But the problem is, you get fearful because you say, I can't sit down on my shot because she's going to blast double me, pick me up over her shoulder, and dump me on the ground, and then just put you in a pretzel. You know what I mean? Kayla Harrison, when she gets in her bag, when she gets the fight to the ground, is very dangerous. But Ketlen Vieira, if I'm not mistaken, judo black belt, jiu-jitsu black belt, right? Like, very skilled, can hold her own. But Kayla Harrison just has a domination, has an overpowering effect that's just different, if you will. So I guess the question that I have here, man, is how long does it take for Kayla Harrison to get the fight down? Just like, what happens if Kayla Harrison goes a full round one and cannot get this fight to the mat?
It's going to be a long night, especially at elevation, Derek, with all those takedown attempts, getting stuffed, right, or just missing out in general. You were saying, respectfully, of course, as always, you were saying slow. I attributed it as blocking or blocky, right? She's very blocky in the way she comes out. It looks strenuous, right? It doesn't look fluid. It doesn't look smooth. She's really blocky. She goes in, but once she gets to her bag, like you said, this fight hits the ground, it's going to be a disaster as far as, or maybe not a disaster, because even then, Ketlen Vieira has a lot of skills right there too. I just think the control of Harrison is something else that is unmatched in the division, and not many girls have felt that yet. So I think that's a big problem right here. Yeah. But, I mean, Ketlen Vieira put some work in, and it does get past that, like I said, minute and a half. Kayla Harrison maybe she gets one takedown the entire fight. We're looking at a massive upset right here.
I'm looking for Ketlen Vieira. Crush space, land the big right hand. You got a speed advantage. And if there's one thing that I'm going to beg her to stay away from to see this be a competitive fight, is don't take the approach that I feel like all of women's MMA take. Don't try to cage wrestle. Stop. Don't clinch her up. Don't put her against the cage, because she's a judo phenom and is going to hip toss you and do all types of craziness to you. I feel like that's always what it is. I'm going to control them. That's what Holly Holmes approached. That's why it was such an easy fight. Holly Holmes said, I'm going to do what I do to everybody, put her up against the cage, mitigate. You got taken down, and things got ugly really fast. For Kayla Harrison, on that end, I think it's pretty simple, man. Limit your time on the feet and strike the clinch. That's it. That's all we got for the matchup right here. Juice-wise, AJ, Kayla Harrison, there's really very few ways that you could lock in value unless we could really pinpoint how she's going to finish the fight. But if you're looking at a prop right here, man, submission is a pretty damn good prop to hit, man. She's hitting TKOs, but she's also hitting a lot of those submissions, plus 375 for the sub. I like it. I kind of can see the TKO playing a little bit better, but what do you think?
I see the TKO playing a little bit better on this one, Derek. I'm not sure, or with the skill that Vieira presents in the grappling, I think it's a little too dangerous to be tested in those waters right there. So I can see Harrison trying to stick strictly to the control instead of getting reversed and then just going for the ground and pound.
No, I mean, it sounds pretty on par for Kayla Harrison. This is the big play right here, man. Ketlen Vieira plus 2,000 TKO. I'm riding it. I don't give a damn. I'll take that all day long. I'm dropping a quick $5 on there, win or lose, just so I can feel something. AJ, I just want to feel something one time. You feel me? Tell me what you make of it. Am I a madman?
You might be a madman, Derek, but you're not incorrect on this one. Absolutely. Throw a little something. Throw a little cash on that. Plus 2,000 for the underdog right here. Throw a little something on it, because that is her best way to win, especially if this gets a little bit longer in the fight. We see Kayla Harrison get a little slow, get a little blocky like we were saying. That's when Ketlen Vieira can put some work in, put some combos, and strike from the outside.
Some would say this is going to be the most overlooked live dog that we've seen in quite some time. So I'll just say that Kayla Harrison, she's been dominating too much for us to bet against her, against Ketlin Vieira, who we've seen have up and down performances against none other than Raquel Pennington, Yana Santos, Irene Aldana, right? Kayla Harrison, a specialist at what she does. That's the pick. And AJ to close us out for what we will mark this as the first bout, but it's not. Roman Dolidze, number 10, versus Kevin Holland, number 15. And you might look at this and be like, oh, okay, interesting, short notice matchup because Kevin Holland was supposed to fight Chris Curtis, and then you think 170, and then you think, wait, Roman Dolidze, wasn't he light heavyweight? Oh, wait, no, this is at middleweight. Kevin Holland, you never know what you're going to get, man. Welterweight, middleweight, he's down to scrap wherever it goes, and this is a hard fight. AJ, to handicap. This is a hard fight to watch tape on and to have an assessment because these two dudes are so drastically different in their approaches. So I want you to take the wheels on this one, man. What is this fight about? What's the ethos of this fight?
That's actually a rough question, Derek, because like you said, they're very different, but the ethos going into this fight, right? What this fight is about, I would have to say it goes down to just grit. Like these guys just wanted something, right? Whether it's a payday, whether it's the glory, whatever the case is, there's something internal that's gritty on both of these fighters coming to it. And I know for sure, Kevin Holland, like he always has something to prove, right? He's always not necessarily overlooked, but kind of looked at as like a joke, if you will. He's a funny guy. He makes the comments. He's the big mouth. So, everybody's looking at him. I don't think too many people take him as a serious, number one contender in the fight or in the division. And that's where I think Kevin Holland's little bit of grit comes from. And as far as Roman Dolidze dropping down to middleweight for this one, man, this makes me interested to see how much his cardio has taken into effect. Like how much has the grappling and the striking been able to kind of conjecture in together. And then on top of that, how far is he willing to push it? Because if you're going up against Kevin Holland, you're going up against speed and a very flashy striker who can land those shots. And if you get tired, it's going to be a rough night.
And bro, that's it. It's like this is such a binary fight because one mistake on either end of this fight, it's over. Let Kevin Holland land that right hand. I know Dolidze is durable, but I don't know if you're that durable, bro. Holland really, if he has a trademark weapon, it is the nuke of the right hand that he will land at you. But if you're Dolidze, you say, all right, but you tend to overextend on that right hand a little bit. So you overextend, and I'm going to grab you. And if there's one thing Dolidze is legitimately really good at, it's just grabbing people. Even if he can't take you down, he'll grab you. He'll get your hands on you for sure. You know what I mean? So that's where I find this really interesting because when I look at Roman Dolidze, I say, man, listen, you can't throw one strike at a time because Kevin Holland's going to pick you apart with just everything. But if you grab Kevin Holland, it could legitimately be over just in a blink of an eye. That could be it. So give me your prediction right there, man. Roman Dolidze could get his first submission victory of his UFC tenure thus far, plus 1,400. I mean, we can't just pass that. We have to talk about this. Plus 1,400 submission prop for Dolidze. What do you think?
I think it's a little inflated, Derek. This might be the best time you're going to be able to see Dolidze get a submission because of what Kevin Holland did in his last fight, right? This is the renewed. Everybody had this coming to Jesus moment that, oh shit, Kevin Holland is now a grappler. All the smack talk he has been saying, this has now come to fruition. I think with the skill that Roman Dolidze presents and the pressure he's going to be able to have, I think that's a lofty shot, or at least, I think the odds should be worse, I guess. Closer to a plus 800 or something like that, plus 1,400. It makes sense, man. I'm throwing some cash on that all day long.
100%. But let's give the man some credit, man. Kevin Holland's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? A Travis Lutter black belt. So, let's put some respect first, right? He just doesn't use it. Dolidze, though, this dude is a grappler through and through who doesn't use it, man. So that's why it's anything could happen in the cage. But I think that there's something interesting there just because we've seen Kevin, I was trying to match up and see what fight is comparable to this. And the only one I was able to come across in reality, I watched the Brunson fight back, Brunson Holland. And that's the thing, man, on the feet. Kevin Holland all day long, but all it takes is for the grappler to grab you one time and ride out the rest of the round with you on your back. So that's what he's even said. He was like, listen, man, if this is a fight, I'm going to win. But if this is a point match, you're going to leg kick me, hold me down, do something dumb, and I'll probably lose. It is what it is. The hardest part about Kevin Holland is you can't take what he says at face value because every time I bet against him, I lose. And when I bet against him, I lose. I lose either way. So, folks, maybe don't tell me, but you should tell me, of course. You know what time it is. This is a contentious pick right here. I got to roll with Kevin Holland, man. Roman Dolidze is a dude who I'm not going to say that I've lost belief in, but a dude who I've thought is, if he cannot secure the takedown, I get very disappointed at what I see from Roman Dolidze. I'm just going to leave it at that. What are your closing remarks on this one?
I think this one, Derek, it's going to go longer than a lot of people are expecting, right? I do think Kevin Holland is going to look good on the feet as he always does, but Roman Dolidze, once he gets the pressure up against that cage and gets that control, I don't think he's going to let go. I'm interested to see who's going to be the fresher fighter come round 2, come round 3, because I do think this one's going the decision. If you're telling me, folks, Roman Dolidze, take him at a money line, take him at a parlay like we talked about earlier, or take that decision at plus 215. Either way, we're hopefully making some cash this weekend.
Hopefully. This is going to be a tough one. This is not an easy fight to handicap right here, folks. So Holland for me, Dolidze for AJ. All right, folks, that was your main card breakdown. But the fun isn't over yet. It actually is just getting started. Now we're ready to talk about not the sleepers yet. We got some bonus plays for you guys as we do week in and week out. Again, the rundown. AJ, let's familiarize the people. What did we accomplish here with the bonus plays?
Some extra money that you good folks, right? The ones that are tuning in right here, the ones we love and appreciate. These are specifically for you, some extra cash in your pockets. And if you've been telling these folks, you're seeing we're hitting every single week.
There we go. And of course, let's just preface, right? These are not all guaranteed locks. We're going to go through these plays and we're going to see what we like, what we don't like. And AJ is going to be our, as always, universal arbitrator of truth and justice and let us know what the play is going to be. First one, AJ, altitude. Utah, baby. Ketlen Vieira versus Kayla Harrison under 2.5 rounds at plus 125. Do we like the play? What are we thinking here?
I don't like the play, Derek. We were talking about it before. I do think this one's going to go a little bit longer than that. But I mean, 2.5 rounds is the majority of their fight. Even the odds makers aren't a fan. I mean, if you're feeling a little frisky on this one, you can throw some cash for the plus money. But I'm not too sold on this one myself.
I'm just going to put this out there just so that we can kind of get a recap of the two solid fighters. Ketlen Vieira is absolutely a decision fighter, right? You see hardly any finishes in her last 10. Kayla Harrison has gone 3+ rounds 3 times in her last 10 fights. Finished everybody before then. So that's where it gets interesting. But again, AJ is our arbitrator of truth and justice. So we don't like the under 2.5 rounds, but if you feel frisky, something you can play on. More interesting right here. Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Potieria, over 1.5 rounds at minus 110. Let me give you just my theory, and then you tell me if we like it or not. I think that Almeida, and if you don't know Almeida, kickboxing champion, fought Paeta multiple times, or this dude is coming up in MMA right now, right? Potieria, he's an under-respected dude, gone up and down weight classes, but he has one X factor that he could bring to Almeida that can extend this fight, and he's down to strike and trade and be a slickster, but he's also going to grab you and try to wrestle you. I think that can extend the fight. What do you think?
This was almost a prop lock, Derek. That's how much I like this one right here, brother. I was looking at multiple different fights. This one pops out the page because, like you said, Almeida, super dangerous. Potieria, he is very dangerous as well, but he has that other one that's hard to be able to match. If you're just a striker alone, like you're coming up at the glory days, this is very hard kind of style to fight against Potieria.
All right, you heard it right there, folks. If there's one we like, this is on that short list right there. All right, we still got 2 more. So these are not fancy plays. These are just interesting trains of thought to have, right? Ketlen Vieira, we kind of already know, plus 650 money line, because I'm skipping one. We're going to go back to Esparza. But Ketlen Vieira, money line, plus 650, long shot. We know it. Again, I'm building off of the narrative of Kayla Harrison, really still unproven in the UFC. Yeah, you beat up Holly Holm on what I felt was a tactical error on Holm's side, but to be a minus 1150 favorite through and through, and for Viera, who's fought real, legit, respected people, let's just name a couple: Penny Kianzad, champion, Raquel Pennington, Holly Holm, Misha Tate, Yana Santos, Sajara Eubanks, Irene Aldana, Kat Zingano, Sarah McMahon, Ashley Evans-Smith. She fought the whole roster, bro. Plus 650, are we taking it?
I'm throwing some juice on this one, Derek. I mean, I know we talked about it before. Kayla Harrison is the lock, man. But, I mean, plus 650 on a veteran, like you said, ran through some of the entire division. Like, come on, folks. What are we talking about?
I'm just saying. Put it out there. We don't encourage you to hedge your bet too often, but this is one where it's like, hedge it. Hedge it, and don't be mad at the result. Be happy if you hit. I'm just saying that. All right, man. Finally, the champion, or the former champion, I should say, in strawweight, Carla Esparza, has a baby. First off, let's acknowledge the first fight back from having a kid curse. It is real. Most fighters lose their first fight, and let's not forget her opponent Tisha, formerly known as Tisha Torres, Tisha Pennington, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to pull it up while we're chatting, but I'm pretty sure that she actually lost her first fight coming back too, right after the baby. I'm going to pull it up. I'm not guaranteed. But Carla Esparza, plus 150. She was mauling everybody prior to losing her belt. And who did she lose the belt to? Strawweight. Weili. Right. Weili took it back. Right. But before that happened, she was smashing everybody. Yeah, she got criticism for the Rose fight because it was boring. But come on, what are we thinking here?
I mean, Derek, Carla Esparza, I was surprised to see her be the underdog, man. I mean, no, I know Tisha Torres is a star previous and then had her moments kind of coming back, man. But Carla Esparza is extremely dangerous out here, right? And at a plus 150, I mean, for a previous champ not too long ago, this makes sense. And Carla Esparza can control another fight and dominate Tisha Torres in there, especially being the bigger fighter of these two.
And if I'm not mistaken, I am seeing Pennington lost against Mackenzie Dern in her first fight back, and then she fought Baby Shark and lost that fight too, right? So something to be said there for Carla Esparza. Her last victory was, of course, against Rose Namajunas. And, bro, she rattled off 5 wins in a row before losing to Weili. So it's something to think about. Plus 150 for the former champion. But we also do know that she's very steadfast and firm in saying this will be my final fight. I will be retiring. You never want to hear that because you almost lost the fight before you entered. You know what I mean? But then again, this is going to be an interesting one. So give us the final yes or no. Take it or leave it.
Take it, Derek, especially at plus 150. I like it. It depends on you which we're going for, but I like this one a lot, man.
Let's go. All right, Carla Esparza, money line right there. Okay, and then give us the final one. It sounds like we have a very clear lock for what the best play out of the bunch is. What is it?
I'm going with Almeida versus Poteria over 1.5 at minus 110.
That's the lock. That's your bonus play, and you only are going to get it here. We do not announce these on any social media channel. We do not bust a short clip and give it to the people. For you who are watching right now, you're getting the bonus play. Let's cash it in. You get it. All right, folks, we have minced enough time. It's time to talk about the unknowns of today and the stars of tomorrow. Let's bring in the sleepers, baby. Let's get it.
It's time for some fight night.
If you ain't paying attention, you're going to sleep on me and I'm going to wake you up. All right, brother, we are here to break it down. UFC 307, there are some fun sleepers to be had on here. And AJ, we're going to get straight to it, man. I'm going to open it up. And you got some veterans, some gritty veterans. Don't you wish Court McGee don't even look like this no more? Tim Means neither. They need to update some picks. You know, it's the realtor who was, 65 years old, but using the headshot from when they was 35. You know what I mean? That's what we got here, but it's okay. We'll give it to them. Not a lot of green, but still a fun matchup. Talk to the people.
A very fun matchup, folks. I'm cheating a little bit on this sleeper section. I won't lie to you guys, but man, this is just an entertaining fight, right? First fight of the night, we got the Dirty Bird versus the Crusher right here. And a lot of the times, man, I know, like Derek said, a lot of red over there, but these guys are live by the finish, die by the finish style of fighters, and I expect nothing different going into this one. 27 combined finishes between these two, man, and with a multitude of ways that this fight could actually play out, I'm expecting this one to be pressure from the jump and violence, right? That's why Dana White puts these fights on the start, on the first card opening up, just because he's getting people ramped up, and these two fighters that are going to provide just that.
That's it. This is going to be a fun one. This might be the last time that we see dudes of these calibers lace them up, man. So this is the last of a forgotten generation, if you will, or whatever the phrase is. Enjoy it while you got it, man, because one day these guys will definitely not be around anymore. But for mine, we're just going to revisit a matchup that we were just talking about. Ihor Poteria versus Cesar Almeida. Listen, man, you got 20 combined finishes between these two guys. For Almeida, you got 4 finishes and 5 wins, all knockouts. For Poteria, 16 finishes, 9 knockouts, 7 submissions. The dude can mix it up. This is why this is a sleeper. This is why this is an important fight. Cesar Almeida is a nasty kickboxer. 47-8-1 kickboxing record with 27 knockouts. You bring that caliber, you see it pop off the page when he actually can sit down and strike when dudes aren't trying to take him down. You know that's what Poteria is going to be trying to do. So he can mix up the grappling. He can be a slickster, do his thing. He's got big power, fought between light heavyweight and middleweight. And I think Cesar Almeida is just going to try to put on a striking contest right here, a clinic. So we're going to see one dude try to avoid getting knocked out, another dude try to avoid getting taken down and submitted, in my opinion, or TKO'd on the ground. Someone's going to get knocked out, in my opinion, but it's definitely going to last over 1.5 rounds to lock in that minus 110 lock, baby. So with that being said, that was your sleepers. All right, AJ. Off to some news and notes, man. We're making some pretty good progress right here. And we got a couple things. We don't have a lot on the docket here today, but we got a couple interesting things that we should probably chat about a little bit. So the first one is actually in regards to this weekend's main event right here, Khalil Rountree. I guess he got something for us, man. So let's pull up the first one. Khalil Rountree. What you got for us, brother? All right, we got a video. All right, this has not been watched, just so you people know. So we're going to watch live together. Khalil Rountree says he has a move that's never been seen before. Says there's a possibility that he uses it against Alex Pereira. If it presents itself, everybody will know, oh shit, that's it. And that's what he was talking about. Another oblique kick. What do we got? All right, let's hear it.
Is that true? Were you being serious about like, hey, I have something that maybe has never been seen before?
I definitely do have something that has never been seen before, ever. When I was
Ever. AJ, first, pause right here. Speculation. I know you've probably seen the clip, but talk to me. With speculation, what is this never before seen technique?
Whoo, man, I'm expecting, Derek, if I had to guess, right, gun to the head, I'm expecting some like forward somersault knee on the top of somebody's head or something, man. I don't know.
Fuck, rolling thunder. All right, let's hear it.
Talking to Joe, and I told him that, like, yeah, I have plans to do this hopefully in my next fight. At that time, I didn't know that I'd be fighting Alex.
He said, hold on, wait, that might change things, but all right, let's hear it, Khalil.
I was still like, I don't know when I'm going to fight. I don't know who I'm going to fight next. There are guys in the division that I can see it working on 100%. There could be a possibility of this happening, you know, of right. this move.
All right, man. Hey, listen. I'm going to let the rest play out, but this do not seem like a confident man who's got some secret technique up his sleeve, man. This is like the most unconfident, I got something for you. What do you think?
Yeah, Derek, this reminds me of those old school, like I'm talking 1997, right? Masters of Bushido, right? The guys that say they go out in the park and they're fighting everybody. They can fight off 12 ninjas. Like this reminds me of those kind of, if you will, cheesy salesmen that are going in there saying some stuff. But I mean, Khalil Rountree has the skills to get it done. I'm excited. If we're jaws on the floor because of some new technique, I guess I'm eating some crow.
I'm gonna hit you with that pressure point. Shut your whole body down. Let's go. You know what I mean?
This technique happening. There could be, yeah. I mean, like, it's definitely possible. Am I hunting for it? No. If it presents itself, everyone will know, like, oh, that's it. Like, that's what he was talking about.
All right, Khalil. Well, hopefully he got something good for us, man. I'm ready to see it. All right, going back to last weekend at UFC Paris, man. Okay, let me do this one first. Renato Moicano, man. Dog, I looked at his collarbone and I was like, that doesn't look right. Like during the fight, and like after seeing, bro, what the heck, man? Just chilling, just like, yeah, my collarbone's popped out. It's all good. I hope he doesn't touch it too much or whatever. Let me see if they got what's the text on here. Yeah, that's it. No, he 10-8'd Benoit Saint-Denis with a collarbone sticking out of his shoulder, bro. Looks like it's about to pop out the skin. What do you make of that? How much more impressive does it make that performance?
The dude's an absolute savage, Derek. Like, although the collarbone did look weird, I'm with you when we saw it happen. Yeah. But to fight through that, to keep going, we know Money Moicano is a real deal gangster. Gotta love it, man. That's impressive. You can even see the skin stretching. Ugh.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Going to jack up your tattoo. But what does he do after? He beats up Benoit Saint-Denis, and then the headline, he needed to get out of his comfort zone. So Moicano thinks Saint-Denis needs to get into a new training camp, probably come to the States and train a little bit. I invite Benoit Saint-Denis to come to our gym, train with us, and I can guarantee he's going to be another fighter. He needs to get out of his comfort zone, in my opinion, but I think he's a great fighter. Still young. Problem is, they give him Dustin Poirier and Money Moicano in a row. We're on a different level now, but eventually I think that he's going to get there. I really respect Benoit Saint-Denis and what he did in this division. Think he's very strong, young, just needs to work on his game. Ultimately, man, I think it's like a very interesting thing to be like, I'm going to decimate you in such a way, but I'm going to give you respect and show you, come train with us, and we're going to take you to a new level. You can be a champion. Just come train with the right people. And training at ATT, it's nothing but studs there. So you can't be mad. It just makes me like Renato Moicano, not as a fighter, but like as a person. I'm like, yo, you'd be a cool dude to kick it with. What do you think?
Absolutely, Derek. I'm gonna relate this to back on when you were on the playground, right? Like you're old school, you're playing just out there playing a pickup game ball. One of the homies is good, right? He's styling on everybody. And instead of being a dick, like instead of just being rude and just flaunting, right, he actually says, no, like, let me help you all out. Let me teach you a little something, pass some knowledge down, right? Lift those up from below. I like this a lot, man. It makes me love Moicano even more.
Teach a man how to catch a fish, and you feed him for life, right? You know, shout out. All right, man. And then the final one, I wanted to end on this one because I wish we could have got to this one before.
Just so everyone.
But Brendan Allen had some very harsh words. He ended up losing his fight, but had some very, very harsh words for the French sanctioning commission, right? The athletic commission right there. Let's go ahead and let's just play. Of course, courtesy of MMA Frenzy right here.
Knows France has the most corrupt way of dealing with fighters ever in the whole world.
So a little dramatic, right? But I mean, he does have a point as he
had fucking over 40 fights, fought outside the country, in the country, different states, that state, made weight, no problem. Then they're going to tell me that I have to give blood or urine. First they say.
So first, folks, just so you know, for those who are watching, right, these fighters, they dehydrate themselves, they go and they make weight, and then the first thing that you want to focus on is replenishing your body so you don't feel like death because you have a fist fight tomorrow, right? But the French, athletic commission says, nah, we need to do a drug test on you immediately after you just finished cutting weight and made weight, right? So they're asking for piss, they're asking for blood, and as he continues,
said urine, I got to give urine right off the scale. So dehydrated, waited 3 hours, finally have to pee. Then they tell me I got to give blood on top of that. So then I do the urine. They say they're going to do blood. They do blood. They don't get enough. They try to tell me.
AJ, what are your thoughts on that, man? You do the blood, and they're like, actually, brother, sorry, come back. We need some more. I mean, that would piss anybody off, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you're dehydrated. There's a reason they didn't get enough blood. It's because you don't got enough fluid in you to be able to produce it. This is rough.
That is.
Tell me they need more. I said, you're not going to stick me again. Then they want to do a different type of blood. So they did that too. That didn't work. So then they thought about doing another one. And then they said no. So anyway, while my opponent gets to go upstairs and sleep after he makes weight, I have to stay down for, 3.5 hours?
Meanwhile, your opponent is fucking chilling.
Yeah.
So unfair, your opponent gets to go rest up, relax, do all the things to rehydrate themselves and put themselves in fighting condition while you're being subjected to further testing. And you can't say no because then you get they refused the drug test and all that. So it's like a lose-lose situation right here for Brendan Allen. Of course, he ended up losing the fight right here. I do not think that this was a result of him losing the fight. It was just because of this. But unfair playing advantage right here. Do we chalk it up to, hey, listen, well, that's what happens on a road game? Or do you say, like, nah, just universally, this just made the fight unfair? What do you think?
It shouldn't happen, Derek. Unfortunately, there's nothing to stop it from happening. Like, especially now with USADA being no longer part of it, man, the commissions get to run the test how they want to run it. And you're playing on visiting soil, like you said. Like, this one, I don't know. I don't want to see it happen, but I understand why it does.
It's a road game. Take it as it comes. And that was your news and notes, folks. So we made it another episode to the end of the show, man, to the outro. Hey, listen, folks, we're so close to 300 episodes here at the Bloody Water Podcast. And even though we're rocking them once a week for you guys, we're giving you more content than we did before, better structure, and guess what? Better picks, more money, baby. Let's go. That's what we're aiming to hit every time. Let's not forget that the entire program, the entire point of this is because me and AJ have a very friendly but competitive rivalry that is going to be coming to a conclusion here in just a couple of months. Let's not forget, I want another one of these shiny belts. I need 3 of them. AJ's got a good one. I'm even gonna solo out on him so y'all could see. Look at that hanging on the wall right there. He wants 2, I want 3, and we're either gonna even it up or we gonna have a new leader on the scoreboard. With that being said, AJ, you do it always. Take us out of here, brother.
Like Derek said, folks, this is a friendly competition. I might be down 8 fights right now, but trust me, man, the year is ending. Fights are coming. We're still winning you money every single week. So thank you so much for tuning in. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. We'd still be doing it, but we appreciate you for tuning in.
The fact that AJ knew he was down specifically 8 fights goes to show I got to watch my back because I don't like how quickly you retrieved that information, sir. All right, folks, that's it for us. Accountability next week. I'll catch you on the flip side. All right, peace.